This week's personal social assignment is going to be another FDIC assignment. This one is going to be on financial recovery. It will be another FDIC quiz where you'll have to score an 80% or better. So you can take it multiple times. You can look at the feedback at the end and take it until you pass with the 80% required. So depending on where you're at in your financial life, you may find out that you might be in over your head. And by in over your head, we're talking about financially, you can't pay for your bills. So in order to try to figure out how to create a budget and recover to where you are now on top of your bills, there's a certain amount of steps that you'll need to take. One is you need to evaluate your current financial situation. Do you have enough to pay your bills? Are you over or are you under? Develop a financial recovery plan. Once you have that plan together, you want to implement it, which means put it into place. And then finally, review your plan to make sure that it's actually working and being beneficial. If it's not, you can always adjust your plan. Remember that financial recovery is a slow and steady process. It's not going to happen overnight. And don't get discouraged if you experience any setbacks along the way. So how do you go ahead and evaluate your finances? First thing you want to do is figure out what your income is. Your total income is going to be anything coming in from jobs, and then you want to compare that to your total expenses. Ways that you can track your expenses are to save your receipts, write down any expenses, and use a worksheet in order to create a list of any expenses each month. This can include your rent, your water, cable, gas, car payment, food, anything that you spend, you want to go ahead and include that in your total expenses. Your income should always be more than your expenses. If your expenses exceed your income, then you need to take action to create financial stability. One way to increase your financial stability is to increase your income. There are several ways you can increase your income. The main ones that are going to be the most popular is taking on an additional job if you're already working a full-time job, or go back to school and try to increase your skills in order to obtain a better job than the one you currently have. You could also make money by using a hobby to increase your income or even sell some of your assets, but those aren't unlimited possibilities as far as increasing. They're only temporary relief. The ones that are going to be a good increase is going to be the additional job or seeking a better job. Besides increasing your income, another way that you can take control of your debt is to decrease your expenses. So there are many different ways you can decrease your expenses. One is purchase only the items that you need, not what you want. Don't confuse want and need. Also cut back on any extra expenses such as dining out, vacations, sporting events, car washes. These are all fun things, but if you can't pay your bills, you need to put these on hold until you create more financial stability. You can also contact your creditors and request a way to reduce your payment. By negotiating with creditors, you may be able to find yourself in a situation where they can either extend your payoff time to allow you to pay the debt off over a longer period of time. They may be able to lower your interest rate, which would then lower your payment, or you can negotiate the minimum payment due that month. Never ignore your debt. This will have a negative impact on your credit. You want to stay on top of your debt. You want to work with your creditors. If you ignore it, it'll just keep getting worse and worse on your credit report and make it harder to repair your credit. When considering what is a want versus a necessity, or want versus a need, think of basic necessities. In this case, a necessity is something that you need in order to live. You need a place to live, so that's going to be your rent and your mortgage. You need food to eat. You need to have electric, water, so it's going to be your utilities, and transportation to a job. These are priorities. You want to make sure that these are the first bills that you pay when you're paying your bills each month. So now that you understand what you need to look at with your income and what you need to look at with your expenses, and you go ahead and create your financial recovery plan, you want to make SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time-based. An example of a SMART goal is going to be, I'm going to reduce my expenses by $200 per month so I can pay my rent. The reducing my expenses is the specific. I'm measuring it by the amount of $200. It is achievable, and it is time-based by saying per month. So this is an example of a SMART goal. When looking at your finances and looking at your income and looking at your expenses, make sure you are developing a budget. A budget is a step-by-step plan for meeting expenses and financial goals. By creating a budget, you're going to know how to separate your income and your expenses. And by having this written out for you, it's going to help reduce your anxiety by letting you know when bills are due and that you've made sure you didn't miss any bills. It gives you a sense of control over your money. And then when you have that control, you can then start saving and building up your assets to improve your quality of life. Go ahead and complete the quiz questions. You must score an 80% or better. And if you don't, click View Score at the end and look at the feedback for each question. Submit as many attempts as you need in order to complete the assignment successfully.